My lord, you're alive.
And Grendel's mother is as dead as her son. Here I bring their heads as proof.
Beowulf, how did you accomplish this feat? What took place in that watery pit?
Now is not the time, Wiglaf. Let us make our way back to Heorot, where I shall regale you all with the tale.
Lord Hrothgar, there is no chance. Our hero is dead.
No!
Be brave, my dear. Unferth, it falls to you then to defend this hall. We post guards and wait for the creature to return. When the time comes, we make our final stand.
Against what?
Beowulf!
Praise be to God! Beowulf, alive!
And having quite the thrilling tale.
What are those things Wiglaf carries?
These are the heads of Grendel and his horrid mother, taken by Beowulf and the bodies of the monsters themselves.
But how did you accomplish this?
Sit down, friends, all of you. Take a seat. I will tell you the tale of the fight with Grendel's mother.
And all gathered around the mighty Geat as he began his tale of the fight against the Cag of the Marshes.
You saw me as I dove into the water. That was all you saw. When I got far below, the world was pitch black. I could feel the reeds shuffling and the water parting, for something else was down there with me. Suddenly a rock dashed aside and I saw the hag dart into a cave, so fast that not even I could strike her before she disappeared. I swam after her, knowing she had set a trap for me, though. In this cave was a treasure trove, maliciously kept as she had no use for it. With the great sword hunting, I searched the murky depths for the creature. From the left she came, striking and clawing, and her hunting was thrust from my grasp. She meant to choke the life from me and let the water flood my lungs. But I was not ready to give up the fight, no. Instead, I clawed right back at her, but her skin was harder even than her son's. We fought amongst the ancient bones of a giant, grappling, smashing, ripping at each other. But she had the upper hand. Then I saw buried within the giant's chest a sword so massive, nothing could stand against it. As tall as 5 men, and heavier almost than the hall in which we here sit. Few men can lift such a sword, but I am one of those few. I ripped the sword from the giant's chest, and with one swift movement took the head from the shoulders of that hag. I dove and recovered her head, and from the shallow grave she had dug him the head of her son. Then, lungs burning at last, I headed to the surface, triumphant.
Beowulf, you have done far more than you ever were called to do. You've saved us twice over, and that is no mean feat.
Beowulf, friend of the Danes, we, once again, are indebted to you. What can we do for you, who gave us so much?
I wish for but one thing, Lady Wealhtheow. I wish to return to Geatland. I have long missed my home.
Will you not stay here for a little longer? The men will miss their hero.
As much as I love this country and all that it means, it is time to move on. Unless you have more monsters to slay about which I don't know yet.
Hopefully not. Beowulf, you are as a son to me. Your presence in Denmark will be greatly missed. But Beowulf, Godspeed to Geatland. You will remain in our prayers and thoughts for all time.
Goodbye, Beowulf. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ go with you.
And so Beowulf left Denmark and headed back to his home of Geatland. When they touched their own soil at last, Beowulf and Wiglaf gave thanks to the Lord and returned home. Soon enough, Ecgtheow returned to the Lord, and Beowulf ascended to his father's throne. There was both peace and war in the time of Beowulf, and he ruled wisely through it all. But soon enough, a slave, wandering in the woods, came upon the dragon's hoard. What's this? Treasure, shiny treasure. A cup, a golden cup. Oh, so beautiful and enough to buy my freedom at last. As the slave left, the dragon heard a jingle of coins while he slipped on some at the mouth of the cave. And the dragon awoke and counted. The dragon burst from the cave in rage to ravage every town he could find until he regained that cup. Of course, as soon as this began, word was sent to Beowulf, and he, though advanced in age, grasped his sword and went forth to face the dragon.
Wiglaf, accompany me on this.
Lord Beowulf, I always accompany you, do I not?
My friend, cousin, ally, you have fought with me more times than I can count. You alone were faithful, waiting beside what should and could have been my watery tomb. Thank you for never giving up.
I'll never give up.
Nor will I.
We made our way to the cave and walked in, confident and powerful. Beowulf, holding his shield and the sword Hrunting, brazenly picked up some gold coins and let them drop.
Come out, creature! I am Beowulf, son of Ecthal, king of the Geats. You dare not challenge me?
Laugh all you want, creature! Show yourself! The dragon, all gold and black scales, wreathed himself in flame, blinding us briefly in its brilliance. The fangs, a foot long each, snapped mere inches from Beowulf's face in defiance.
And that's your taunting? You have not the will to attack me now, creature? Go to hell. Go back to your handler, dog.
Beowulf made the first strike deep into the dragoning's lungs, puncturing it with a blast of wind and fire. Beowulf's mail melted upon him, coating him in the metal. He pushed it off his arms, leaving his flesh exposed, allowing himself movement. The dragon's fire lit the cave once again, as it coughed out short a lung into Beowulf's mighty stab. Beowulf ducked under the dragon's tail and put another wound into its stomach, covering him in the acid that began to burn away all his skin and hair. But the dragon had not breathed his last. Deprived of his fire, he turned instead to his poison, and with one great bite ripped out most of Beowulf's right side. One-armed and wounded, Beowulf made a mighty leap and sliced open the dragon's chest, leaving the heart exposed. The dragon had long forgotten me, and as it turned to feed on Beowulf, I leapt up. You shall not touch him! With my own sword, I sliced the dragon's heart from his chest, and it fell with a sickening crunch, covering Beowulf in its blood.
We laugh. Friend and companion.
Beowulf, my lord.
Wiglaf, bring me some of the treasure. Show me our reward.
Here, lord, look upon it.
Wiglaf's reward. I wish I could live to celebrate it with you.
You will, my lord. You will.
Wiglaf, a good bit more of me is in that dragon's stomach than is here. I have something here that belongs to you now.
The crown. But I...
Nowhere north or south, between the two seas or under the sky, on this broad earth, is there any man more fit to raise a shield or run a kingdom than Wiglaf?
There are plenty more fit than me.
But none that I trust. Our sword will clash and batter from land to white sea foe.
Until the Lord is done with us and
calls his men back home.
And there we'll wait for battle.
When the judgment bell tolls, Geats will be the one God chose to give the devil hell.
Go to God, my Lord Beowulf.
We shall fight together, you and I, on that last judgment day. Go with God, Wiglaf, king of the Geats.
I carried his body back home, and we cremated him, and buried the ashes in a barrow overlooking Geatland. I ruled as wisely as I could, but only Beowulf could be as wise as Beowulf. Thus made their mourning the men of Geatland, for their heroes passing as hearth companions, quote that all the kings of the earth, of men he was the mildest and most beloved, to his kin the kindest, keenest for praise. Thank you for listening to Beowulf. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did, because that was kind of fun doing all those horrible sound effects, wasn't it, Rory?
I don't know about you, but I had a blast. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to sing in this concert tonight.
I'm sorry.
Good thing I don't have a solo. Thanks a lot.
Gracias a Dios, eh? Well, thank you for doing this, by the way.
It was a blast. We should do it more often.
I know. You should be up here more often, eh?
Yeah, tell that to my gas tank, please.
That's a good point. Anyway, well, thank you for listening to Nerd Squad's presentation of Beowulf. We're going to go, and as many of us who can will be re-recording the Jungle Book because of its unfortunate incident last week.
And then it will be on Facebook.
Or 2 weeks ago, actually,
everybody who's been asking me about it.
I know, isn't it great?
Yay.
So, yeah. And for those of you who don't know, every one of these Nerd Squad radio dramas is available on Facebook via Nerd Squad Radio Theater Facebook page. Like it, go through the videos, and listen loud. Now, oh, you have something to say?
I was just going to remind everyone that we're going to be back again Thursday at our regular time for Dr. Dolittle. So make sure you listen in.
All right, thank you very much. And now, music.